When people hear about a major blackout, severe storm, or any large emergency, the first instinct is usually the same: rush to buy bottled water, canned food, batteries, and flashlights. Those items are considered basic survival supplies, so they naturally get all the attention. But something interesting happens during almost every real crisis. While crowds focus on the obvious shelves, a different group of people quietly heads toward less noticeable aisles and takes items that most shoppers ignore until it is too late. These are often the supplies that become impossible to find within the first few hours, not because everyone suddenly remembers them, but because experienced people already understand their practical value. In many emergencies, simple items outperform expensive survival gear because they solve several problems at once. The following 13 items are often underestimated, yet they repeatedly prove useful when daily systems begin to fail. 1. Unscented baby wipes, hygiene without running water. One of the first hidden problems during a blackout or infrastructure failure is hygiene. Most people think first about drinking water, but very quickly another issue appears: how to stay clean when water must be conserved. Unscented baby wipes become extremely valuable because they allow basic hygiene without wasting precious clean water. They can clean hands before eating, wipe sweat during extreme heat, remove dirt from the face, and help maintain skin cleanliness over several days when showers are unavailable. In addition, they can be used carefully to clean around minor cuts or scrapes. You're reducing the chance of infection when medical help may not be immediately available. Unscented versions are preferred because fragrances may irritate sensitive skin, especially if wipes are used repeatedly over many hours. Many people ignore baby wipes because they think of them only as childcare products. But in a prolonged outage, they quickly become one of the most practical comfort and sanitation tools in the home. 2. Pool shock. The overlooked water backup. When store shelves empty, bottled water disappears almost immediately. What many people do not realize is that water treatment matters just as much as water storage. Pool shock, specifically calcium hypochlorite, is often overlooked because it sits in a completely different section of the store where fewer people think to look. In carefully measured amounts, it can be used to disinfect very large quantities of water. A small package has the ability to treat thousands of gallons if handled correctly. This is why experienced emergency planners often mention it quietly, even though most shoppers never consider it during panic buying. While bottled water shelves empty in minutes, pool supply aisles can remain stocked much longer. However, because improper use can be dangerous, exact dilution guidelines are essential, and it must never be confused with other pool chemicals that contain additional additives. 2. Contractor trash bags. A simple tool with many uses. Heavy-duty contractor trash bags are far more useful than ordinary household trash bags because they are thicker, stronger, and built to resist tearing under pressure. During emergencies, versatility matters more than convenience, and these bags can perform many roles at once. They can serve as temporary rain protection, emergency ponchos, makeshift waterproof covers for gear, liners for collecting water, insulation under sleeping areas, or even barriers against wind when taped over broken windows. In some situations, they can also help separate waste safely when sanitation systems fail. Because they cost little and store easily, they often provide more practical value than specialized equipment costing much more. A single box can solve multiple unexpected problems during the first difficult days of a crisis. 4. Wool socks. Foot protection becomes survival. Many emergency situations eventually involve movement. Whether someone must walk because fuel is unavailable, roads are blocked, or transportation systems stop functioning, foot care becomes extremely important. Cotton socks may feel comfortable at first, but they trap moisture, which quickly creates blisters and skin damage during long walking periods. Wool socks perform much better because they continue insulating even when damp, regulate temperature naturally, and reduce odor over extended use. This means feet stay warmer in cold conditions and drier in changing weather. People often underestimate how quickly foot pain can reduce mobility, but experienced hikers and emergency planners understand that damaged feet can completely change a survival situation. Keeping several pairs of wool socks ready may seem minor, yet in real conditions, it becomes highly practical. 5. Superglue, small tube, major utility. Superglue is often seen as a basic household repair item, but in emergencies, its usefulness expands dramatically. The main ingredient, nancyanoacrylate, bonds quickly and can temporarily seal small, clean cuts when proper medical supplies are unavailable, although deeper wounds always require professional care when possible. Beyond first aid, superglue can repair cracked plastic containers, secure damaged shoe soles, fix broken tool handles, seal loose equipment parts, and restore small gear failures that could otherwise create larger problems. Because it is inexpensive and already common in most homes, many people forget to include extra tubes in emergency supplies. Yet when stores begin emptying, this small item disappears quickly because prepared shoppers know how often it solves unexpected failures. 6. Hand crank. Radio, information when everything else fails. Modern life depends heavily on smartphones, internet connections, and charging systems. But during a large blackout, those systems may fail within hours. A hand crank, AM/FM radio becomes extremely valuable because it provides access to information without relying entirely on batteries or electrical outlets. By manually generating power, the radio can continue working even after stored batteries are exhausted. This matters because emergency broadcasts often remain active even when internet access disappears. Weather warnings, evacuation notices, official updates, and safety instructions are often easier to receive through radio than through overloaded digital systems. In many emergencies, information reduces panic more than supplies do, because correct decisions depend on understanding what is happening outside. 7 Fishing line and hooks. Small food security. Backup. Food shortages usually do not happen immediately during a short emergency, but if supply chains slow down, simple food gathering tools become more valuable. Fishing line and hooks take almost no storage space yet, provide practical options in rural areas or near water sources. A compact kit with strong line and several hook sizes weighs almost nothing and fits inside a pocket or emergency bag. Besides catching fish, fishing line can also help secure shelter materials, hang equipment, tie repairs, or support small improvised traps. Its strength compared to its size makes it one of the most efficient multi-purpose items people often forget. 8. Printed contact lists. Old school reliability. Most people today rely entirely on phones to store contact information. The problem appears when batteries die, phones break, or mobile networks become overloaded. A printed contact list solves that instantly. Writing down family numbers, addresses, emergency contacts, nearby meeting points, and important service numbers may seem old-fashioned, but in a blackout, it becomes extremely practical. A waterproof card or folded paper stored inside a wallet or emergency pouch can provide critical communication support when memory fails under stress. Many people realize too late that they only remember 1 or 2 numbers by heart. 9. Baking soda, low cost, high utility. Baking soda is one of the most overlooked emergency supplies because it seems too ordinary to matter. Yet its usefulness is surprisingly broad. It helps control odors when sanitation becomes difficult, supports basic cleaning. Hygiene can help extinguish small grease fires and serves several simple hygiene purposes. It also stores for long periods without losing value. During emergencies, multi-use items matter more than specialized products because space and budget become important. A large box costs very little but can replace several separate items under pressure. 10. Heavy-duty aluminum foil. Lightweight versatility. Heavy-duty aluminum foil often gets ignored because it seems like ordinary kitchen material, but stronger foil performs many survival tasks. It helps cook food over open heat, reflects warmth toward shelter interiors, protects surfaces, assists with collecting water, and creates visible reflective signals if help is needed. Some people even use it to protect small electronics from limited environmental exposure. Though it is not full shielding, the thicker commercial-grade versions resist tearing much better than ordinary foil, making them far more practical in difficult conditions. 11. Work gloves. Protecting the most important tools. In an emergency, hands do nearly every critical task: lifting, clearing debris, carrying supplies, handling rough surfaces, and making repairs. Without protection, even a small cut can become serious if medical treatment is delayed. Heavy-duty work gloves, especially those with leather reinforcement and cut resistance, prevent injuries that could stop progress entirely. Broken glass, exposed metal, splintered wood, and rough tools become far more dangerous when working quickly under stress. Gloves often disappear quickly because experienced buyers know their value immediately. 12. Duct tape. One roll. Endless solutions. Few supplies are as famous for versatility as duct tape, and for good reason. Quality duct tape can seal cracks, patch leaks, reinforce damaged containers, secure shelter materials, protect feet from rubbing, stabilize broken gear, and support temporary repairs almost anywhere. Good cloth-backed tape performs much better than low-cost versions because it resists humidity and pressure. In emergency conditions, simple repair capability often matters more than buying new equipment, and duct tape repeatedly proves useful across many situations. 13. High-proof alcohol. Long-term utility. Few expect. A sealed bottle of strong alcohol, such as vodka or whiskey, often disappears quickly when emergencies are announced because it has several practical uses beyond drinking. High-proof alcohol can support fire starting, assist with limited surface disinfection, and store indefinitely without refrigeration. In prolonged disruptions, it can also become a trade item because shelf life remains stable for years. Many people overlook this until they notice how quickly such bottles vanish before major storms or blackouts. Used responsibly, it becomes another example of a common household item with surprising emergency value. The most important lesson is simple. During emergencies, ordinary items often become extraordinary because they solve practical problems that expensive gear sometimes cannot. Prepared people usually focus less on dramatic equipment and more on simple, reliable tools that perform many jobs at once. The reason these 13 items disappear quickly is not panic. It is quiet preparation by people who understand what daily life truly requires when systems stop working.